agreements with the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. It joins Brown, Fond du Lac, Manitowoc, Marquette, Sheboygan, Washington, and Waushara counties in entering into a 287G agreement. The Department of Homeland Security says this program trains local police officers to become ICE warrant service officers. The officers can then serve warrants on behalf of the agency inside of local jails and correctional facilities where they work. ICE then has 48 hours to take the immigrant into custody. The ACLU of Wisconsin has urged local sheriffs not to enter into these 287G agreements or to withdraw from their existing contracts. More federal offices across Wisconsin may be closing, targeted by the Department of Government Efficiency. The office led by billionaire Elon Musk had already released a list of at least 6 governmental offices to either be eliminated or reduced in Wisconsin. Now there are 16 of them. 2 are in Green Bay, 1 is in Shawano. Musk's team is planning to close an office used for Social Security Administration appeals in Green Bay and an office for the U.S. attorneys in Green Bay. The Bureau of Indian Affairs location in Shawano is also slated to be closed. Other leases terminated statewide include offices for Fish and Wildlife, Federal Motor Carrier Safety, the USDA, and the Internal Revenue Service. The largest office on the closure list is the Bureau of Indian Affairs location in Ashland. They employ at least 40 employees. It's not clear whether they will keep their jobs. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News, WGBW.FM.
A win for the Wisconsin hockey team. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Wisconsin women's hockey team skated to a 3-1 victory over Minnesota Duluth in the semifinals of the WCHA Final Face-Off Tournament hosted by Duluth. The Badgers outshot the Bulldogs 42-23. Wisconsin's Casey O'Brien scoring her 80th goal of the season, becoming the first female player in NCAA hockey to do so since 2018. Badgers goalie Ava McNaughton made 22 saves to earn her 32nd win of the year. The Badgers advanced to the finals on Sunday. NFL place kicker Mason Crosby at Lambeau Field, retiring as a Green Bay Packer, but says after a slump in 2012, he was concerned the team would cut him.
And Charles Woodson came up to me late in the year, and he was just like, dude, are you trying to make kicks? And I was like, well, yeah. He's like, stop it. Don't try to make just be you. Do your job, right? Do the process.
Crosby retiring today after 16 years in Green Bay. With Sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Partly cloudy for tonight. Lows in the mid-teens. For tomorrow, a rain or snow shower with more clouds than sun and highs in the low 40s. Mostly sunny and around 50 on Sunday, even warmer through much of next week. Currently 40 degrees.
Teachers are dynamic leaders shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. They're skilled experts, discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, leading by example. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready? Explore teaching at teach.org. Supported by the U.S. Department of Education and 1 million teachers of color.
The Todd Alba Show.
Think about how many people in our communities, our friends, our families, our neighbors, are postal workers, carriers, people that work at our Veterans Affairs hospitals, USDA. Here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene, Donald Trump's lieutenant, thinks of all the people I just mentioned.
Federal employees do not deserve their jobs.
That's what Donald Trump and MAGA believe if you are a federal worker.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Rational Revolution with Mark Becker.
Join me as we find out what happened to USAID with Christina Dry, speechwriter and communications analyst for the agency.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a guy who appreciates a nice hot meal at a fair price. Pete Schwaba.
Welcome, Wisconsin. Happy Friday, everybody. It is 6 o'clock. Are you home yet? Are you in traffic? What are you doing? Either way, great to have you. Hope we can make your drive a little easier or your transition into your evening a little nicer after a long day of dealing with work, traffic, politics, whatever it is, folks. Hopefully you've been listening to Civic Media all day and a voice of reason, and now you just need a way to transition into the rest of your evening. It is Friday. That's exciting. Who doesn't love a Friday? We're going to do this right. We got a great Friday show for you guys tonight. I've asked Mike Clemens to be on the show. Terry Barr, it's a bar band Friday night, so we have two great guests. We've got a great question tonight. Conrad is here. He decided to stop by. Good to see you, Conrad.
Yeah, it's more of a stop by every night in the
Just
weekday.
checking in for a couple hours.
Just checking in on you, making sure you're doing well.
Appreciate that. Yeah, lots of fun stuff. I did not have a good drive in tonight. This is weird. Usually, the last couple times I've talked about coming into work on 41 involve me and someone either being a jerk or whatever. But today I had two cars in front of me, and it was like a pissing match. They were talking at each other. I don't know if they were friends or there was some incident before I got stuck behind them, but these two clowns took both lanes. And they were jawing at each other. I honestly, I was ready to call the cops. I thought someone's going to do a pit move here or run the other one off the road. People lose their minds when they're in their cars. It's like nobody, I mean, I know people lose their tempers when they don't have a weapon, but that's when people are scared. Most people want nothing to do with a fight. But boy, you get behind the wheel of a car, or you have a gun, you have some type of weapon that makes you feel more masculine, I guess, or accelerates your anger, and it's all bets are off. It's pretty scary stuff. But I was stuck behind them for like 15 minutes, and they would not leave each other alone. And then finally around Ocano, the truck, there was a pickup truck and like a little BMW, and the pickup truck made a quick move and got off, probably trying to avoid the other guy. And he did this crazy maneuver and followed the pickup truck. So I don't know what happened.
Oh my God.
If there is foul play somewhere in Ocano tonight, I hope I don't get called as a witness, but yeah, people they lose their minds when they're in their cars for some reason. And here I am talking about it. I was ticked off too, but man, I'm not going to not going to do that with a car. I've told you, whoa, I just went through puberty there. You hear that? Excuse me. Speaking of masculinity, I told you my story, right? When I was late for that gig that one time on 41.
What was, I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to save that for another.
Yeah,
I got a fist fight on the freeway.
Oh,
on the highway leading out of Ocano.
You did, yes.
I had blood on my shirt. And I had bloody knuckles, and it was awful. But I wanted no part of it. The guy, but I was like, all right, either get in a high speed chase with this guy, and we all die, or we get out here and we just go at it and it's over. And I didn't want either. But man, I would be the first guy to chicken out of some type of car duel. Plus I got a hybrid. I'm not going to win that.
You know what I did today
Scary
that was
stuff.
pretty dumb?
What's that?
I've only done it once before, and it was when I lived in Milwaukee, and I walked out of the house without my keys on me, and the door locked.
Shut the door behind you?
And that happened in Milwaukee, though, 3 years ago. And it's so embarrassing having to call your landlord, have him come down. Well, today it happened again.
So is this a regular occurrence? Like,
no, I was in a rush to get out. I was like, I need to get to the gym. I need to get my workout done so I can come back, do some work. Run out. I have my phone. I have my wallet. Dig it in my pockets for like 5 minutes, looking around my car. Had a call, and they wouldn't answer right away.
Now, how quickly did you hear back from them? Like, how were you able to?
Well, it was about, I had my garage open. I was just sitting on my car, just waiting for him for 15 minutes. And it's just so embarrassing when they come around. It's like, forgot your keys inside, did you? I don't suppose you got your ID on you either, right?
Listen, I'm not that bright. You don't have to beat me up over it. I do that all the time. Like, there was a point about 2 years ago, within the time span of a month, my son was living at home. My daughter was still at home. There were 3 instances of our keys being locked in various cars. And I have to call USAA, and I have to say, look, yes, it's me again. Please send someone, it is embarrassing, but look,
you got to get in.
What are you going to do? Yeah.
It made it worse that I didn't have my car keys is attached to my house keys too. So
you're dead in the water.
I couldn't go to the gym, come back, and then call.
You could have done push-ups next to your car and started the workout.
I guess so. That's thinking right there.
Oh, man, that's hilarious. That's a great way to start the show with Conrad and Pete's tomfoolery. Really fun show, though, tonight. We got Mike Clemens here, folks, at 6:35. Mike's got a lot to report on. We've got some Badgers, some Marquette, some Packers, lots of stuff going on in the world of sports. And Mike is the Civic Media Sports Authority, so he will fill us in at 6:35. Sure, Mike will go off on one of those awesome Clemens tangents, too. Sometimes he just starts with something, and it's like, I would talk to you about that for 20 minutes, Mike, if we didn't have sports to get to, because he's an interesting guy. He loves movies, he loves art, he loves reading, all that kind of stuff. So Mike will be here at 6:35. It'll be entertaining either way.
Yes, it will.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, it is a bar band Friday night. Our Nightlight, one of our besties of all time, Terry Barr, will be here bringing new music and sparkling conversation. She's so much fun to talk to. And she's going to kind of tell us about what's going on around the state, too, musically. There might be a few things you guys want to catch if you're in the mood for some music. Bar band Friday night. And here's a weird thing. You know what? I'm going to hold. Never mind. I didn't say that, Conrad.
Okay.
Listen, we've been making fun of Adrian Brody since that Oscar speech,
Yeah.
and well deserved. But I don't know. We'll get into it. But I think right now, Conrad, let's pivot. It's time for our question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question. Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Question.
Questions.
Well, it is International, maybe National, Pancake Day. Flapjack Day, I'm sorry. It's International Flapjack Day. Tonight's question, ladies and gentlemen, everybody loves pancakes. How do you like your pancakes? Saturday morning, that was a big pancake day in our house. So Friday night is the perfect time to ask the question, how do you like your pancakes? I will go first. When I have two answers to this question. When I was a kid, I liked butter, pure maple syrup, and some cinnamon sugar sprinkled on top. Now, I still like cinnamon sugar, but my wife makes these protein pancakes with walnuts, little bits of bacon, and blueberry, all packed into the pancake, and they are dynamite. Little maple syrup, some cinnamon sugar sprinkled on top. Those are my favorite pancakes. I could easily just eat regular pancakes too, though. I love them.
Okay. I really enjoy chocolate chip pancakes with peanut butter and syrup on it.
You told me that recently. Why would you have told me that?
It was actually that I liked it with waffles, peanut butter and waffles and syrup.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
But I like it on pancakes
It's the same
too.
thing, a pancake and a waffle.
I mean,
right?
Peanut butter is my favorite topping for any breakfast thing.
Yeah, so we've learned. Okay, that works. Ladies and gentlemen, the phone lines are open. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. As always, you can chime in and let us know what's going on in your life, what you think of what we're talking about. Chime in, be part of the show, and tell us how you like your pancakes. That's a great question heading into the weekend. All right, here's what I was going to say. I didn't know if I wanted to tease this or what, but Adrian Brody has been pissing me off all week. First, there was that speech. It was completely unhinged. Missed the Oscars record by 1 second, as I understand it. The guy calls me today. He tracks me down. I'm an easy guy to find. I don't hide from anybody. But Adrian Brody found me, got my number, and called me, and kind of gave me the business over the phone. He didn't like what we've been doing. We didn't do it last night, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had a little fun saying he's still talking, and we play parts of his speech.
Yep.
Great actor, terrible monologist.
Actually, it's not even a joke. I think he's still going today. I think it might go to Sunday. A whole week speech.
A week-long speech. Well, he's got the record then for sure. But I'm going to play that phone call in the next segment. It's just Adrian Brody called me up. I took the call. I didn't recognize the number, but I took it. I knew it wasn't a telemarketer. but I didn't know it was Adrian Brody.
It didn't say potential spam on it?
No, the speech was spam. That was ridiculous. And normally, look, I'd be excited. Like, I don't really get starstruck. I've been around celebrities in my life. Some of them I really respect. Some of them I think are great. Others couldn't care less. But I would take a call from Adrian Brody. He's a 2-time Oscar winner, and he's a great actor. He really is. And when he started in the business, there were comparisons to Robert De Niro, which, to be honest, are warranted. He's that good of an actor. He just sucks at the acceptance speech. That's where he goes off the rails. And, you know, he didn't like, but either way, actors are sensitive. He did not like what we did this week on Night Light. So he called me. I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that clip after the break. But in the meantime, how do you like your pancakes, folks? Or should I say flapjacks? I like pancakes. I say pancakes. I think most people say pancakes. I know McDonald's for a while on their commercials was saying, you get 2 sausage links and 2 griddle cakes. It's like, griddle cakes? That's just kind of weird. Flapjacks I could go for. I like flapjacks. I like pancakes. So let us know what your favorite pancakes are. That's just something we have to get to the bottom of as listeners. So what am I supposed to cut to this, Conrad?
It's there if you wanted to. I don't.
All right, this is breaking news. I guess. Some breaking news in the NFL. Conrad reports. Geno Smith got traded to the Raiders
For a 3rd-round pick.
That's right, folks. A player you don't care at all about went to a team that sucked. You know what? That's breaking news, Conrad, if he shows up here at WGBW.
Well, it's like crazy because the Seahawks are just unloading everyone
Fire
right
sale.
now. And so are the Jaguars. I saw a tweet today that said, you, too, are released by the Jaguars.
I'd love to get traded by the Jaguars. All right, we're going to play my conversation with Adrian Brody. Coming up next, it's Night Light with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
TV dinners and ginger ale. Oh, if the ass I worked, the little money come and worked out well. C'est la vie, said the old folks, goes to show you never can tell.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
Appleton Cigar Company on College Avenue has been serving the community for over 25 years. If you are a cigar aficionado looking for a one-of-a-kind experience, you need to check out Appleton Cigar, which boasts the largest selection of cigars north of Milwaukee with over 706 cigars to choose from in a walk-in humidor. The Cigar Lounge offers an impressive variety of spirits and cocktails that pair perfectly with a premium cigar. For the full experience, come to Appleton Cigar at 415 College Ave, Monday through Saturday, 11:30 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. For more information, go to appletoncigar.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
There was a time when barbecue was perfect. A strong, reliable flavor that could be counted on. But then big manufacturers decided that barbecue needed to be zesty or spicy or sweeter or whatever. If you miss the good old days of great tasting barbecue, we'd like to introduce you to Grandpa's Barbecue. Made in small batches from Grandpa.
When I was in Door County, there was a restaurant that had granola pancakes. Oh, I've heard of those. They were really good with butter and syrup. There you go. Yeah, a little crunch in your pancake. That never hurt anybody. That's great stuff. Brian from Milwaukee says, whole wheat pancakes with sugar-free applesauce, cinnamon, and walnuts. I'm on the DASH diet, need to eat healthy. Wow. It's funny. That doesn't sound healthy. It sounds delicious. Honestly, but I guess it's all healthy. Have you ever had buckwheat pancakes?
Buckwheat?
I think they're like wheat. They're like a real hard, like grinded up. It's like remember stonewashed jeans? Probably not. This is like some of the listeners know what I'm talking about. This is like a stonewashed pancake. It's like ground up. It's like kind of, I don't know. I like buckwheats, but that sounds kind of like what you're saying here, Brian.
That's what the pancakes look like, is stonewash?
Well,
I'm looking at a picture right now.
The idea behind a stonewashed denim is you beat it up with stones. Yeah. That's kind of how the pancake, like a buckwheat pancake, is like inside. It's like real. I don't know. It's got an interesting texture to it. My dad gave them to us when we were younger. We hated them, but I like them now. But those are great. Those are great texts. There are no wrong ways to eat a pancake, folks. So please let us know what your favorite, how you like your pancakes. That's what we're going for here. I saw this. This was really strange. I don't know what. This is what we get, I guess, for after the last election. There have been a lot of attacks. Remember the guy who said conception starts at erection?
Oh, yeah.
A little irrational. But here's a guy. I saw this on a friend of mine's Facebook feed. This is from Heartland Signal. Michigan Republican Josh Shriver proposes total porn ban. If you're a guy proposing a total porn ban, you know what that tells me about that guy?
What's that?
He watches a lot of porn.
He's trying to get rid of it.
He can't stop. And we're all his hostages. That guy's getting primaried really fast. I don't know what the big deal is. He called it. Shriver made the announcement on X, of course, on Wednesday, calling pornography a scourge. Read a Bible passage before you watch it. I don't know. Balance your life out a little bit. You don't have to just dive head first into whatever. It's just, God, leave people alone, will you? Okay, so here's what, all right. This is a weird thing. I like I said earlier before the break, folks, we have, I've been poking a little fun at Adrian Brody all week because he gave a very long speech at the Oscars. It didn't really go anywhere, kind of meandered. He won the Oscar second time. He's a best Oscar winner, and he's like 49 or 50. Like, that's incredible. He's a great actor. But his speech was ridiculous. It meandered. It didn't go anywhere. He kind of said a lot of different things. And he missed the record for Oscar speeches by 1 second. I think they said it went on for 6 minutes. And my joke was that it, just like the movie The Brutalist, his speech needed an intermission. It was not a good speech. Well, we had fun with that on the show. Conrad played a couple clips of him still talking. Today, he tracks me down. He finds me. He calls me on the telephone. And we had a little conversation, and I suspected something was up. I saw the number coming in. I recorded the call, and we're going to play that for you right now. This is me and Adrian Brody. I recorded my ringtone, too. Hello?
Yeah. Is this Pete Schwaba?
Yeah. Who's calling?
It's Adrian Brody, cheese dick. I heard you've been talking about me about my acceptance speech.
How did you get this number?
I could get to anyone. You seen how broad my shoulders are?
Yeah, but what's that got to do with it?
I know you think you're hot with your little radio show, but people love my speech.
I'm sure they did. I'm surprised you're not still giving it, to be honest.
Yeah, I want an apology, and I want it right now.
Dude, I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but most people thought your speech sucked. It was meandering. It went on forever. I'm sorry, but it was almost as long as The Brutalist, for God's sakes.
Oh, yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like my speech. You think I don't know that? You know how many phone calls I still have to make? Well, yeah, no one understands me.
Yeah. Hey, Adrian, come on, man. Relax. It's cool. Look, you got 2 Oscars. Why would you care what anyone thinks about your speech or feel the need to talk for that amount of time and not really say anything? Come on, man.
Oh, you know what? Here I am opening up to you, and you take another shot at me. Have you seen my shoulders?
Yeah, but, I mean...
Have you seen my shoulders?
Yeah, man. I saw a lot more of you than that in The Brutalist, which was totally unnecessary, by the way. Look, dude.
Yeah, look, it's cool, Schwaba. I'll do anything for a role, but yeah, people love my shoulders. Hang on a second. Harvey Weinstein's calling from prison, and make sure I'm treating his ex-wife well. You believe that guy? Ugh.
Yeah.
Hey, no hard feelings, cheese dick.
And then he was gone. He was out of my life. It was just the weirdest thing. He just like hung up so quickly. I'm so glad I recorded that.
Yeah.
I'll have to, I got to come clean. Conrad added the ring as a sound effect. That's not my real cell phone ring.
Wait, I don't know what you're talking about.
But he was serious. And apparently he's not just going after people, everybody. He's not going to call everybody who didn't like his speech. He's just going after people in media that have radio shows or podcasts or talk on TV. He's not happy about it. Whatever, Look, the guy's earned some street cred. He's got 2 Oscars. I don't think he needed to call me some of the names he did, but whatever. It was cool to talk to Adrian Brody at the end of the day, I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah.
I got a couple scripts in the works. Maybe we could work something out. I'll take back what I said if he agrees to be in one of my movies. I think that's fair.
You could name the movie after what he insulted you on. Cheese
penis. I didn't know if we could actually say that word. You know what? I emailed Todd to see if we could say that. Let me see what he said. I don't know if he got back to me or not. No, he did not. All right. So, wait a minute. He did. I think we made the right decision. That's
okay,
good. It's such a harmless word, though. Come on. That's not even on George Carlin's 7 words you can't say on TV. Conrad also broke a story here, folks. Geno Smith got traded to the Raiders.
That sucks for him.
But we should ask Mike about that. I mean,
yeah.
We'll cover all things sports with Mike coming up after the news. Always fun to have Mike on the show. And I want to ask Mike, I want to know where Mike is staying for the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, he's media. I'm sure they must have hotel rooms booked for media. But I know he's got kind of a sweetheart deal here in Green Bay. So maybe he's already taken care of. But.
The hotels are booked. I mean, even the ones in Milwaukee are booked up.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
insane.
crazy.
We got a shower here. Mike has like
there's a couch.
One of those, what do you call those? Floatable beds or inflatable beds?
Air mattresses.
Air mattresses. That's it. Thank you very much. Mike Clemens, after the news, folks. It's a Bar Band Friday night. Terry Bar coming up at 7:35. Great to have you with me on this Friday night edition of Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Maggie Dawn Show.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Facing 14 drug charges, 35-year-old James Granberry has asked for his case in Brown County Court to be dismissed because his preliminary hearing, which is usually held within 2 weeks of charges being filed, has not happened yet. He's been in jail for 6 months. The state has been unable to find a public defender for Granberry, and his preliminary hearing has been postponed at least 4 times. Granberry and 6 others were arrested in a Brown County drug bust last August. Prosecutors have not responded to the motion. Hospital Sisters Health System, or HSHS, announced it is spending $270 million for improving and modernizing its hospitals in Green Bay. The hospitals in question are St. Mary's and St. Vincent's. The lion's share of the funds will go to improvements at St. Mary's. Work will begin in the summer and will continue for about 3 years. It looks like cuts to Medicaid will happen. Savannah Tomei Olson has that story.
The House passed a resolution to reduce the energy and commerce budget by $880 billion over the next 9 years in order to extend President Donald Trump's tax cuts. Analysts say there's no way they'll be able to reduce the budget by that much without slashing funding to Medicaid. Here in Wisconsin, 1.2 million people get their coverage through Medicaid. That's 18% of the population. That includes 1 in 3 kids and more than half of nursing home residents.
Spring is on its way, and the Wisconsin DNR is encouraging people when planting their gardens to consider native plants like Joe Pieweed that look great and benefit pollinators, while avoiding non-native invasive species like garlic mustard and Buckthorn. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Keanu Reeves says John Wick 5 might not happen. The actor spoke to Extra and said that John Wick 4 didn't leave much room for a John Wick 5, which is an understatement because John Wick died in Chapter 4. Reeves said the role is very physically and mentally demanding, but also said, never say never. Translation, I want a lot of money to do John Wick 5. Ione Skye, who starred opposite John Cusack in 1989's Say Anything, has a new memoir out called Say Everything. In the book, Skye says she and Cusack had sex, but not while filming the movie. Skye says it was years later that they reconnected and wanted to see if on-screen chemistry could be found off-screen, adding it was something she needed to get out of her system. Skye wanted to clarify that the hookup with Cusack happened after she divorced Beastie Boy Adam Horovitz. Skye also said in the book that it was when she was married to Horowitz that she discovered she likes women. That'll pump a guy full of confidence. For more showbiz fun, tune into Night Light with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Partly cloudy for tonight, lows in the mid-teens. For tomorrow, a rain or snow shower with more clouds than sun and highs in the low 40s. Mostly sunny and around 50 on Sunday, even warmer through much of next week. It's 39 right now.
Ready for the April election? Here's a special invitation for you. Join the free Protecting Justice for All conversation about the Wisconsin Supreme Court race Wednesday, March 12th from 5 till 7 p.m. at the Overture Center in Madison.
Up North News radio host Pat Kreitlow, Civic Media's Todd Alba, and Dan Schaefer will lead a guest discussion about the economy, education, environment, and more. Then stay for the Candidates Debate Watch Party.
Attend in person or listen to live coverage from the Overture Center in Madison, Wednesday night, March 12th from 5 till 7 on your local Civic Media radio station and the app. The Maggie Dawn Show.
Brian Lamack, defend the vote.
The SAVE Act will make it harder for all Americans to vote. Now you need a passport. Wisconsin specific, 5 million people don't have a passport. Now it's $130 per passport.
Even if you can afford to get a passport, that is a months-long process. Unless you planned a year ahead, you're not going to be able to vote.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app.
Time to spring ahead. Why does daylight saving time exist?
You always have some disappointments in the year. I think for me, the thing that's been on my mind, I think as we've concluded this season, is we need to continue to ramp up our sense of urgency. These opportunities don't come, the life of a player in the National Football League is not very long. We got a bunch of good guys in that locker room. We got a bunch of talented guys in that locker room. And yeah, I think it's time that we start competing for championships, right?
There you go. That's Packers GM Brian Gutekunst. What do you think about that, Conrad?
I think he's correct. It is time to compete.
It is time to compete. That's kind of a saying like we gave it our all out there, though. I mean, of course.
I mean, the Raiders can't say that. So.
Well, they can now that they've got your boy Geno Smith. The guy we really should be asking about all this is Civic Media Sports Authority, Mike Clemens. Man, if only he were on the show tonight. Wait a minute. We've got Mike on the phone? Oh, this is great. Hey, buddy, how are you?
I'm good. You know, what Brian Gutekunst is saying is, oh, yeah, okay. You people remind me every day like a broken record. I've got the youngest roster in the NFL. Fine. I'm here to say to the locker room, you kids have been here now a year and a half, 2 years. It's time, okay?
Right.
We're in what they call the Super Bowl window, and I need you guys to pick it up and pick it up a step. And when they bring in guys like Josh Jacobs, who, about halfway through the season, he's even got these second and third year players coming up to him and saying, man, and Josh is like, yeah, dudes, this is what it takes. This is how hard you have to work at this, at practice, after practice, in the weight room at 6:30 each morning. So that's what Gutekunst is. He's going to the whip a little bit, right?
Right. Yeah, as he should. I mean, especially, well, you know what? Let's hold on. I want to ask you stuff about the draft, Mike, but let's get to some other stuff first. Do you have a place to stay, first of all, for the draft, Mike? You taken care of?
I've got an option or two, but it's going to be tight. And First of all, I kind of have to wait for what the Packers going to say. But it's going to be It's going to be. I still haven't heard about if the cruise ships are actually pulling up into Green Bay.
Oh yeah.
For extra rooms for
that.
people.
It's a great
we'll
idea.
see.
You could do worse. A Disney cruise ship right out here on the Fox River. I think that
Right.
would be you could do the water slide and then go to work. It'd be great.
Well, that's like the old high school thing. You're going to take your date down to see, the Snipes or something like that. Hey, let's go down to the Fox River Valley and go look at the cruise ships.
You lost me, Mike. I was never that devious. I'm kidding, obviously.
I just heard about it.
Yeah, sure. How do you like your pancakes, Mike? That's our question of the night.
That's plain buttermilk with melted butter and warmed up syrup. And there's a place. Oh, you know what? You reminded me. There's a thing in Racine County that's the Riverbend Nature Center, and they do a fundraiser like it would probably be this weekend every Sunday. And you go to this little place that's off the creek that leads into Lake Michigan in Racine County, and they have a bunch of maple trees. So the sap is coming out of the trees, and they've got people out there actually, that melt it down. It takes 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup.
How about that?
And then they make the syrup right there, and they serve it over the pancakes. So
Wow.
that's the way I like mine, man.
I'm going to have pancakes tomorrow. All this talk about pancakes is truly making me crazy tonight.
Yeah.
I'm doing this keto thing, and it's brutal. So, all right, Mike, so we've got a lot to get to. Before we start out, were you at the Combine?
Yes, all week.
This is such a fun time if you're an NFL fan, especially if your team has not been very good like mine hasn't over the last few years. I love the Combine. I love the free agency, which starts Monday, and then the draft. This is like the triumvirate of the NFL offseason. It's so much fun. Are there any big stories that you stumbled onto at the Combine or that you found with what you do? Some great reporting?
There's cynical people like maybe on social media that call it the Underwear Olympics and it's hyped and blah, blah, blah. If you're a 22-year-old young man and you have been working for 10, 12 years for this moment, you're trying to get into the damn NFL, and you have really worked hard in lifting weights and running and jogging and playing 4 years of college football and trying to stand out. And now hopefully that you get picked for the dance and you get into the NFL and get a job this coming summer and get on a team. And so it means everything to these guys. And while the Combine is really something to do the measurables, your height, your weight, your wingspan, your hands, and how high can you jump, and your 40 time, your bench press, and all that.
Medicals, yeah.
Perhaps the most important thing, if you're Brian Gutekunst and his scouting staff, is it's our first chance to really meet face-to-face with some of these kids. And Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Browns, said it's sort of like speed dating because, you get 20 minutes with the kids. But think about this. Think it's like, you were going to hire someone to read the news on your show, and tonight you were going to interview 12 candidates in 20-minute interviews. I mean, how drained are you going to be?
Sure.
That's what it's like for those teams. That's a lot of work, and it's a long day, too. And, it used to be a little bit more where you get up around 7 or 8. The players have to get their first MRI in the morning at 7 a.m. Then they got to go to this doctor. Then they got to go across the street and do this, and they got to do that. And then they got to have an interview with the team, and then they got to run that night. But you have done by 5 or 6, and then the coaches and the players might, or not the players, but the teams might go out for a beer or 2 or 3 and have a steak at St. Elmo's. Well, Goodell, who turns everything into a TV show, has now shifted that to prime time.
Yeah.
So you see these people walking out of the Lucas Oil Stadium at 9:30. Or the people that have to cover it, like Rich Eisen or Stacey Dale, a reporter, and getting to know these folks, and they got to be back there at 8 o'clock in the morning, after being on the air for 12 hours. So it's kind of a grind, but it's the NFL. It's not exactly construction work on the road. But that's what the atmosphere is like between this huge convention center and Lucas Oil Stadium. So, I'm sure one of the things that you've been reading about or talking about is wide receiver. If Christian Watson, and we sat down with Gutekunst, we talked to him for an hour, closed door in a conference room that they kind of set aside for those of us that cover the team. We came down from Wisconsin. Christian Watson, torn ACL, last game of the regular season against the Bears. What's the story there? The swelling went down. He's had the surgery. He's making progress, but, you can't count on him till maybe November, Thanksgiving or so. Romeo Doubs, wide receiver.
Wow.
Twice he had concussions, even when he started wearing the Guardian cap, the extra padding on the helmet in games and at practice. Is he concussion prone? No, we don't think he is. They've examined that. They don't. And then Jaden Reed, the great receiver you've got going in his third year, number 11, not only a great receiver and an H-back and, jet sweeps and punt returner, but I told you after the Eagles game, there he was with his arm in a sling all jacked up. He had a severe dislocated shoulder that required surgery. So Goody said, yeah, he's probably going to be, limited during OTAs and minicamp, and hopefully he'll be ready for training camp. So that's what you say. You got to bring in somebody.
Yeah.
And then you got Josh Jacobs, the running back, coming to us at Super Bowl, doing interviews with us, and saying, Jordan Love needs a number one. He needs a more experienced receiver out there. So would it be Devontae Adams, who got cut by the Jets this week? Maybe. Or DK Metcalf, right? The big dude from the Seahawks, 6'4", 235 pounds. He doesn't have the best numbers sometimes when it comes to like yardage and first downs, but he's certainly a threat and a guy that they have to look out for. So John Schneider, the GM of the Seahawks. Now John, is from De Pere. He grew up in Green Bay.
Oh, wow.
He was on the Ron Wolf and Ted Thompson's staff. Matter of fact, when Ted said, hey, we're getting rid of Brett, he's the one that put together the trade with the Jets. So he's been the GM of the Seahawks. And he was on the radio yesterday and was asked, can he confirm that DK Metcalf, one of their stud receivers, wants out of Seattle?
Let's play that, Conrad.
Obviously DK has requested a trade, and we are, entertaining that. We are talking to a ton of teams, taking offers, seeing what that looks like, and here we go. I mean, you always have to do the thing to understand here is that, our responsibility to, Jody Allen, the 12s, first and foremost is doing what's absolutely best for the organization, and then B, what's best for the player. Hopefully, both those things merge, and it's an ideal situation. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. Hopefully in this situation, it does.
That's interesting, Mike. What do you think if the Packers wanted to do that? I was hearing today earlier on sports radio a first and a third they might want for him. That seems high.
I don't see Goodikins giving up that much for this guy. I just don't.
I don't either.
He would much rather get. Listen, I'll use a second-round pick and get a good receiver coming out of this draft.
Right.
I'd much rather pay a guy for the next 4 years rookie contract money than DK Metcalf money, or Devontae Adams money. As good as Adams is, and things that they could bring to the team. Now, John Schneider said that, DK Metcalf is a good guy, good player. This is just business, nothing personal. Hey, we may have to bring him back. But they just had to release Tyler Lockett, speedy Tyler Lockett, because he's kind of end of his run, and he's a salary cap hit. And so Schneider's got to make some tough decisions. So they were going to have this, listen, we're going to release Tyler Lockett, but we want to thank him. He's been so great to the team and the organization, was there for Super Bowls and community and all that stuff. And DK Metcalf's agents are, leaking to The Athletic and ESPN, hey, we want to trade. We want out of Seattle. We don't want to be a part of a rebuild, which kind of spoiled, took away the spotlight in the Seattle area. And so John Schneider was asked about, with Metcalf's agents calling the media while the Seahawks released veteran wide receiver Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, probably not intentional, but very disappointed in the timing. We wanted this to be a very special day. We wanted it to be, Tyler Lockett Day. We've had cap casualty, very famous, extremely important legends that have been cap casualty individuals that we, probably could have handled a little bit different in the past. So we wanted to handle Tyler's situation as classy as we possibly could. So yeah, we all were very excited for to have this really nice day for Tyler, to celebrate Tyler, and yeah, I'd be lying if I felt bad for Tyler. The TV's all about DK instead of Tyler Lockett.
Interesting. Mike, you said before the Packers needed true number one, and you said DK Metcalf didn't have great numbers. I know he's an athletic, he's a phenomenal athlete. Is he a true number one? Is he just not had a quarterback to throw to him?
That's part of the situation, too. That's what he's looking for. That's what his agent is putting out there, too. He wants to go to a team that's got a shot to win it all, and somebody who can throw the ball to him. Whether or not he could hook up with Russell Wilson, if Russell ends up with the Raiders or something like that, but that's one of the things he's looking for. Here's what I can tell you: while I don't know exactly what's going to be on Goody's mind and what he thinks of these guys, or maybe there's some, just a guy just like Xavier McKinney. Look at the two free agents he brought in. I mean, you didn't really know that much about Xavier McKinney from the Giants last year. But look what he did once he got to Green Bay and in that system, right? We did know about Josh Jacobs because he was burning it up out there with the Raiders. But, wow, I mean, for him to take over and to fill the shoes of Aaron Jones, pretty amazing. Yeah. So at the end of the day, those two guys not only came in and performed, they became locker room leaders. And the one thing that I know for sure in a brief conversation I had in the hallway with Goody is this. Fit means everything still to this guy. I do not want to. And listen, think about this. You're Rasul Douglas, pretty good corner. You brought him in, and he was performing for you. But he starts flipping off about Joe Barry and the defensive coordinator and stuff. And what happens? He gets traded.
Right.
You're Jair Alexander, and you run out there onto the field, during the coin toss against Carolina, and there's some other things. What happens? They sit your butt down and suspend you. Or you're Romeo Dobbs, you decide you're having a little breakdown, you don't come to practice a day, and you don't explain what's going on, we're going to suspend you. He's not interested in any drama.
I never get tired of the phrase lipping off either, by the way, Mike.
Right,
well
right.
done.
And so when you hear about
more.
Metcalf, is that an attractive guy to sign for Green Bay right now?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
We have to do a very quick break, and we'll be back more with our friend Mike Clemens right after this. This is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Neither are you. We are the same. Whatever we do, you love me, you hate me, you know me, and then you can figure out the bag I'm in.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Todd Allball Show.
Ready? While the teams get ready to choose their top draft pick, you can help Mino and the Mayor choose their top craft pick.
Northeast Wisconsin is home to amazing breweries, wineries, cideries, and distilleries, and we need your help picking the best.
We've drafted 10 of our favorites, but which local craft beverage creator will go to number one? That's up to you. Top craft pick creators include Kerrigan Brothers Winery in Kaukauna, Stillmank Brewing Company in Green Bay, Old Station 31 Spirits in Dale, and Old Bavarian Brewing Company in Appleton. Vote for your favorite now by logging on WGBW.FM and click on Mino and the Mayor's Top Craft Pick. When you vote, you'll enter a random drawing to win $250 in gift cards from participating craft creators. Don't wait. Voting ends Friday, April 18th. Log on WGBW.FM and click on Mino and the Mayor's Top Craft Pick and vote right now. Mino and the Mayor's Top Craft Pick, drafting Northeast Wisconsin's finest one sip at a time.
Nerds, it's time to come together. I'm Amanda Nimmer, bringing you your new Wisco 411, and this is your time to rise because one of the largest Star Wars fan collections in the world is coming February 1st through April 27th, showcasing iconic characters, vehicles, memorable scenes from the franchise. There are 142 collected items, including a life-size land speeder. Get your tickets for the Multicultural Center's unofficial galaxies from February till the end of April.
Finding the special healthcare resources families need just got easier. Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network helps kids with delays, disabilities, special healthcare needs, and mental health conditions. Call toll-free 877-947-2929. Ask questions, get answers. Connect today toll free, 877.
Annie from Watertown answers our question of the night. She says, buckwheat is really good for you. I forget why. I keep trying to get into it. I did some research on this, Annie, and in the second hour, I'm going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about buckwheat because of your text. So thank you for that. Right now, we've got a few more things we need to get to with our friend Mike Clemens. He's the Civic Media Sports Authority, and always fun to talk to on Nightlight. Mike, before we pivot to women's hockey and then some basketball, let's finish up with the NFL. The Packers, Mason Crosby retired today. Is that right?
Yeah, the free agency starts next week. And so the Packers, first thing they're doing when they get back from Combine, and they've sort of got some prices out there, what the market's going to be looking for. They re-sign Isaiah McDuffie. He's done a really nice job as a backup linebacker, signed him to a 2-year deal. And the next day, Brandon McManus, the guy that they brought in as a kicker last year and did so well, they signed him to a 3-year deal. And then, lo and behold, the next day, it's announced that Mason Crosby's decided to retire as a Packer. So Mason came in today, signed a 1-day contract, and he held a press conference this afternoon. And, he played for 16 years for the Packers. We talk a lot about the run at quarterback between Favre and Rodgers, but how about the run between Ryan Longwell and Mason Crosby, back-to-back great kickers like that? And Mason was asked this afternoon at a press conference he held at Lambeau Field, was there ever a time he thought he might have been cut after 6 years? He got into a slump. He was missing some PATs. He's missing some field goals, and he thought he might get cut after about 6 years in Green Bay.
In the end of the 2012 season, you asked about if I ever thought I was going to get cut. I definitely did at the end of that season. And Charles Woodson came up to me late in the year, and he was just like, dude, are you trying to make kicks? And I was like, well, yeah. And he's like, stop it. And I was like, wait, what? And he's like, don't try to make just be you, do your job, right? Do the process. And so I've told this story a bunch because it was such a simple thing that kind of got me out of the slump. It's that was the moment. And then I kind of finished the year, making some kicks, made it a 48-yarder at the end of the season in Lambeau. And it was just that was what I needed.
Wow. That's I like almost any time Charles Woodson talks, he says something. It's kind of cool.
He's amazing. I had to talk to him at Super Bowl as well. He's that guy. He didn't say much, but when he did say something, man, it was 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, well said. Last NFL question, Mike. Do you expect the Packers to make a big swing in free agency or just plug some holes? What do you think they're thinking?
Well, they always surprise me somehow, some way every year. It doesn't seem like it's that strong of a class, but I think there's guys that are out there that can help them, even at wide receiver, at corner. But I think they also need to address offensive line. And the reason I say that is that they'd had the longest run of the starting 5 offensive linemen until what? Until Elton Jenkins got drilled in the shoulder by the Eagles linebacker Nolan Smith. And I swear to God, Pete, I think Vic Fangio said those guys, it's the playoffs now. They're not going to call it. When we have a play, if you don't have to cover a guy anymore, hit somebody. Every play, just hit somebody. And he drills Elton Jenkins, who has a huge neck stinger. His arm goes completely limp. And they didn't have anybody replace him. They put in this rookie, Travis Glover, who had 3 penalties, 2 holding calls. And then they tried to put in a backup tackle at left guard, Kadeem Telford, and that changed the Packers' offense. And a game that they ended up losing their season to the Eagles, who went on against that tough defensive line that gave trouble to the Chiefs. So I think they need to pick up another veteran offensive lineman, especially if they lose their center, Josh Myers, in free agency, because he might get an offer that Goody talked about last week, walk-away money. Like if Josh Myers just gets a ridiculous offer for 5 years and, $30-40 million or something like that, we have to have our walk-away money and a plan B. So that's what I think that they should do, is get another veteran offensive linemen to back up there.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, can we keep you? I want to talk some hoops with you, but I want to hit on women's hockey first before the news. Can you stick around for a few minutes after the news? All right, fantastic.
I'm going to go make some pancakes. I'll be right back.
Let's talk about this women's hockey team. We've got a couple minutes before the news. Number one, they beat Duluth today, I think. I had no idea. I'm really behind on my college sports right now.
No, the Wisconsin women's Badgers hockey team is ranked number 1 now, Pete.
Incredible.
Number 1. And they were winning games last weekend against Bemidji, 11-0. That's a hockey game. So today, they were up against number 6 Duluth, Minnesota Duluth. They were hosting the game, and the women from Madison, they skated to a 3-1 win today. Casey O'Brien scored her 80th goal of the season. 80 goals in the season. First female player to do that in college hockey since 2018. Their goalie, Ava McNaughton, is pretty good. 22 saves. For her 32nd win of the year. So now they advance to the finals on Sunday in Duluth of this WCHA final face-off tournament that they have, for championship hockey for women's hockey. So that's Mark Johnson for the Miracle on Ice team, head coach of that program. He was named Coach of the Year at a banquet they had at this thing the other night.
Really? And so why were they playing it in the afternoon on a Friday? They just don't want to compete with the basketball, or was that just the way the chips fell?
No, it's a tournament. So after them came another team, and they had some. I think one last night. Yeah, it's there's a grid going on.
Yeah.
And because Wisconsin was like the number 1 seed, now they advance to the finals, and they're waiting to find out who they're going to play on Sunday for the championship of this tournament.
Fantastic. All right, cook. How do you do? What do you bake flapjacks? I don't know. Make your pancakes, Mike, and we'll be right back and talk some hoops. This is awesome. Mike Clemens is here. He's going to stick around for a few minutes. Civic Media's award-winning news team is about to tell you what's up. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Start, and it breaks my heart. When a teardrop falls, I wanna cry, cry, cry alone. When you're feeling blue, I'm waiting just for you.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matinee on Air.
Dom Salvia.
Next time, our favorite Delano Democrat, Harvey Kaye, will discuss the American crisis. Also, if the GOP has a mandate, shouldn't they be able to pass a stopgap spending bill without Democratic help? Tune in.
The Dom Salvia Show, weekdays 4 till 6. The Todd Alba Show.
Think about how many people in our communities, our friends, our families, our neighbors, are postal workers, carriers, people that work at our Veterans Affairs hospitals, USDA. Here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene, Donald Trump's lieutenant, thinks of all the people I just mentioned.
Federal employees do not deserve their jobs.
That's what Donald Trump and MAGA believe if you are a federal worker.
The Todd Alba Show, weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app. This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Causes of death for Gene Hackman and his wife are released in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
The cause of death for Mr. Gene Hackman, aged 95 years, is hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, with Alzheimer's disease as a significant contributory factor.
New Mexico's chief medical officer, Dr. Heather Jarrell, says Hackman's wife, Betsy, died days before he did of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a virus spread by mice or rats. For killing his girlfriend's parents with a baseball bat, Brad Sigmund today in South Carolina was the first person in the U.S. to be executed by firing squad in 15 years. Rolling out new economic programs to help protect Canadian businesses from U.S. tariffs. Canada's government, the tariffs have been postponed. President Trump opened the first of its kind crypto summit at the White House, pushing the creation of a federal Bitcoin reserve. This is ABC News.
Do you enjoy fatty foods, sweets, and alcohol? Who doesn't? Unfortunately, all those things put a lot of pressure on our liver. That's why pharmacist, best-selling author, and nutritional expert Sherry Torkos recommends Active Liver from New Nordic.
The liver is an incredible organ. It works nonstop to process toxins and chemicals from our food and drinks, medications we take, and even environmental exposures. As a health expert, I'm often asked how to support the liver's natural detoxification process and offset the effects of fatty foods, sugar, and alcohol. I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. This gentle plant-based supplement is an effective way to support your liver's vital functions as well as your energy and overall well-being.
With its powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, Active Liver is the perfect way to keep your liver healthy and you feeling your best. Active Liver is available in both a delicious gummy or tablet. You can find Active Liver in the vitamin aisle at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The largest reduction in federal jobs could happen in the next month. Here's Civic Media's Jimmy Kuska.
The Trump administration is planning on cutting tens of thousands of Veterans Administration jobs, according to multiple news reports. Currently, the VA employs about 470,000 people. The goal for the Trump administration is to get the VA back to pre-pandemic staffing of just under 400,000 workers, so about 70,000 employees would be let go. In addition, the Trump administration is planning to downsize the military's civilian workforce by about 5 to 8% of its nearly 950,000 employees.
According to federal data, there are about 11,000 federal VA workers in Wisconsin. The latest Marquette University Law School poll of Wisconsin voters finds several candidates for statewide office in the upcoming spring election are struggling with overall name recognition. The poll looked at the public opinion on the candidates for Wisconsin Supreme Court and state superintendent. The poll did not look at any head-to-head polling for either race. More than half of registered voters did not have an opinion on Susan Crawford, the liberal candidate for state Supreme Court.
A win for the Wisconsin hockey team. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Wisconsin women's hockey team skated to a 3-1 victory over Minnesota Duluth in the semifinals of the WCHA Final Face-Off Tournament hosted by Duluth. The Badgers outshot the Bulldogs 42-23. Wisconsin's Casey O'Brien scoring her 80th goal of the season, becoming the first female player in NCAA hockey to do so since 2018. Badgers goalie Ava McNaughton made 22 saves to earn her 32nd win of the year. The Badgers advanced to the finals on Sunday. NFL place kicker Mason Crosby at Lambeau Field, retiring as a Green Bay Packer, but says after a slump in 2012, he was concerned the team would cut him.
And Charles Woodson came up to me late in the year, and he was just like, dude, are you trying to make kicks? And I was like, well, yeah. He's like, stop it. Don't try to make just be you. Do your job, right? Do the process.
Crosby retiring today after 16 years in Green Bay. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News. Your news in depth. Find it in the news section at WGBW.FM.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Partly cloudy for tonight. Lows in the mid-teens. For tomorrow, a rain or snow shower with more clouds than sun and highs in the low 40s. Mostly sunny and around 50 on Sunday, even warmer through much of next week. Currently, it's 37.
Ready for the April election? Here's a special invitation for you. Join the free Protecting Justice for All conversation about the Wisconsin Supreme Court race Wednesday, March 12th from 5 till 7 p.m. at the Overture Center in Madison.
Up North News radio host Pat Kreitlow, Civic Media's Todd Albaugh, and Dan Schaefer will lead a guest discussion about the economy, education, environment, and more. Then stay for the Candidates Debate Watch Party.
Attend in person or listen to live coverage from the Overture Center in Madison, Wednesday night, March 12th from 5 till 7 on your local Civic Media radio station and the app. Matt Nair on air.
A lot of federal employees got this fork in the road letter. You can stay, but you're not really guaranteed anything. Luann's husband is a Vietnam veteran.
I wrote a letter to President Musk. My husband put his life on the line for our country.
Wow.
You are putting my husband's life on the line right now by cutting all those programs that are keeping him alive at the VA. Please call your legislators and tell them to stand up. This is not what America is.
Matt Nair on air. Weekdays 10 till noon on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Earl Ingram.
It's Motown Mondays. We have Stephen Williams, owner of Blue Book, discussing debtors' recent arrests. We'll also welcome Dr. Anthony Eastreet, CEO.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Night Light with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who writes checks his mouth can't cash, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to hour number 2 of this Friday night edition of Night Light. I hate weekends. I like being here and talking. That's what I do, folks. It's so much fun, and it's great when you guys participate. So our question of the night is, how do you like your pancakes? It's National Flapjack Day. So fire away and let me know how you like to eat them. Terry Barr is coming up at 7:35. It is a bar band Friday night. She'll bring new music and sparkling conversation, as she always does, one of our Nightlight besties, and talking to another pal of ours right now about sports. Mike Clemens joins us, taking a break between the Combine and free agency. Mike, are you at home tonight, actually? Getting a night at home?
I am, because I got a game tomorrow night. It's Bucks hosting the Magic. But, you're talking about pancakes. Did you know for 3 years, when I was 16, I got a job at a brand-new International House of Pancakes.
Whoa.
And I got a job as a cook. And so that got me through the start of college. It was a good job. I had a great manager, pretty good owner, and they had a whole system. Like they would train you at 16 years old. This is a great experience for 6 weeks, and so you'd be back there in the kitchen doing prep with the big Hobart mixer. These things, I just Googled it. It would cost you about $45,000 to $50,000 to buy a new one of these giant. Yeah, because it would make like 10 or 12 gallons of this stuff to make. Because you could go through that much. This place was really busy. It was really popular at the time. We had on Sunday mornings, Pete. We had people lined up outside in the parking lot to get in to one of the 110 seats that we had in this place, making those buttermilk pancakes. But yeah, you put in the mix and then the water, and the key to make those things sweet was butter, extra butter. You melted the butter in these huge pots, and they just poured that melted butter into the mix at the very end. Oh, man, the pancakes would rise, and, you put them on the hot griddle at a certain temperature, and then when you see them start to bubble, and you flip them that one time, you would flip them over and carefully learn how to do it, get a little bit in the air. You'd have to flip your eggs the same way, too, and omelets, that type of thing. Learn how to flip it with your wrist. I just made some eggs like that today, over easy, in the frying pan. And then when you sell them, as they say, like short order cooks, you get that lineup of plates. You slip the spatula underneath, and you put it in your left palm. Then you put it, set it down in the air onto the plate that way that they rise, and they don't get smushed and all that. And I made thousands of pancakes for 3 years.
It sounds like you could put the apron on right now and get back there, Mike. It doesn't sound like you forgot.
Actually, there's a coffee shop that was close by, and a guy suddenly had an appendicitis and owned the place, and it was like Father's Day, so I went back there and I did 3 hours in the kitchen after I hadn't done it in 25 years. But you never lose it.
It's like an altar boy when one of them gets sick, and you have to come out of the bullpen and go up there and serve
and serve and try not to burn down the church when it comes to lighting the candles.
That's
right.
Yeah. Did you ever hear Brian Regan's joke about the about the IHOPs?
No.
No. When an IHOP would go out of business and someone would rent that space, but everybody knows it used to be an IHOP. But
right, sure, it's that big blue high angle. Yeah, right.
And he would do the guy sitting there like trying to get insurance, and he's like. He's like, how many times did they hear jokes like, they give the big insurance spiel, and he's like, you think I could get a Rudy Tooty fresh and fruit? And the guy gets mad.
True. There's one in Janesville. It used to be an IHOP. It's actually one that I kind of trained in one summer when I was a kid, and now it's some sort of cash and loan thing. And you've got to think all the jokes that they get, right? Every time they come in here, can I have some blueberry pancakes?
Silver dollars, please. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Well, good to know. I learn a little bit more about you every time you're on the show, Mike, and I have to say it's liberating, and it's comforting. That's pretty cool. So, all right, let's turn to basketball, Mike, because this is a big weekend. It's a big day tomorrow, even for you got the Badgers and Marquette. Both playing. Is Marquette tomorrow or Sunday? It's tomorrow.
No,
right?
it's tomorrow morning. You're right. I mean, tomorrow's all basketball.
Wow.
At 11 a.m., the Marquette Golden Eagles are at home. And the other day, Shaka Smart said, after they lost another tough game to UConn on the road, he said, hey, I got senior day on Saturday. I'm like, oh, wow, that's right. Yeah, this season's already wrapping up,
crazy?
regular season. So I went and looked, and did you know that Al McGuire played at St. John's with the team they're playing tomorrow?
I think I did know that. I remember.
I didn't, because I got home last night from covering a practice, and I turn on NBC, and Jimmy Fallon opens up the Tonight Show last night with the number 6 ranked St. John's basketball team. All the players, all the young guys, singing a fight song for the Red Storm.
Huh.
Just one of his bits of like one of his cold hard opens to the show. And I realized, you see, St. John's is ranked 6th in the nation. Like Jimmy and New York City and all of New York, they're probably really excited about this team, right? So that's the team that the Golden Eagles have to face tomorrow on their senior day. And, and it's their last game for guys like Stevie Mitchell and David Copeland, who's probably going to go down with the most games played in a career at Marquette, and Cam Jones. And after coming off this loss the other night to UConn, where they've got all that weather out in New England, and I don't know if you heard this, there was a 22-minute game delay at the start of the game. The authorities came over to Shaka Smart, the head coach of Marquette, and said, Coach, we've got the pavilion here is leaking water, and we got all this water down here at the baseline. And so he went to Dan Hurley, the head coach of UConn, and said, Dan, listen, man, we'll play in your practice court across the street. We're not going home without playing a game.
Nice.
They're talking about canceling the game. So it took them 22 minutes to mop it up and figure out how to fix the leak, and then they got the game in the other night. But Marquette, they've lost like 3 of their last 7 games, mostly on the road, like to Creighton, Villanova, and UConn, and obviously that hasn't helped their rankings. So big game for them tomorrow, and they're honoring, they'll be on the Al McGuire court. Al McGuire played for the St. John's Red Storm from 1948 to 51 before he moved to Milwaukee, and then took the Marquette Warriors then to the 1977 championship. Learned that this week.
Yeah, that was a great win. And I think that's why I know a little bit about Al McGuire, is just because he was the last coach to win that championship in 77. That was such a great year. So, all right, you got Marquette at 11 a.m., then you got the Badgers at noon. It's decision time. I guess you could switch back and forth. But the 12th ranked Badgers take on, they got a
Penn State.
Penn State, yeah.
Penn State, great football team. Not so good at basketball. Not so good. Badgers, they've only had 2 losses in the last 4 weeks. Their last 7 games. They lost that one at home to Oregon, and then last Saturday on the road to number 8th ranked Michigan State. But they beat Minnesota in Minneapolis the other night, 74-67. And if you've seen this Jeff Janicki kid, they put him out there. He's a guard. He comes out like in the in the second half, and he's in your face. He's great on defense. Really hustles around, and all of a sudden he trips over some guys. Bam! Face plant, face first into the court, and he comes up and he's walking around. He's feeling around, and the announcers even said, like Matt LePay said, like I think he's picking up a tooth off the court. And after the game, Greg Gard said, "Yeah, he kind of looks like a hockey player now. And chipped a tooth, and he's got a big chipped tooth. He looks like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber.
He's got the
and
bangs.
I'm thinking, well, that's nice, Coach. Mrs. Janicki, his mom, is probably listening to this on the radio, like, you're calling my son a hockey player now?
That's great.
Shame on you. But anyway, he's going to be okay. He had a little press conference, and he'll trip to the dentist. He'll have to fix that.
Mike, before we let you go, where right now, as it stands, where do you see, Big Ten tournament notwithstanding, or Big East tournament, the rankings or the seedings, I should say? Like, you think Badgers are 3 or 4, Marquette 8 or 9? What do you think?
I don't have that good of a feel of it, and that's because there's kind of a logjam at the top of that. But I think it doesn't always seem like sometimes they move these teams around too in terms of interest and what they're going to be. I don't know if they're going to play in that tournament they're going to have in Milwaukee or be moved to one of the other regions. But the Badgers, they've been consistently good now the last 2 months. They have beat an awful lot of good teams, and they're consistently good with the 3-point shots. So I would think that they're going to get a higher seed than anybody would have ever predicted out of this group at the start of this season.
Yeah, especially if they slumped a little bit, too, it seems like. Mike, as always, my friend, thank you so much. We'll be checking in with you, hopefully, during free agency. That's going to be an exciting time, as will the draft. But glad you're home. Enjoy your family, and let's talk soon.
I love the show, Pete. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I'll talk to you next time.
Okay, buddy. That's Mike Clemens, Civic Media sports guru. Always fun to talk to. Terry Barr will be here at 7:35. It's a bar band Friday night. She will bring new music, and it's really good. I love this. Sam Ness is who we're going to talk about. He's a good singer-songwriter. That's coming up at 7:35. I did do some research here because I saw Anna from Madison's text about buckwheats. And I knew they were kind of good for you, like better than regular flour, but this is what I just Googled this after I saw Anna's text, and it said, yes, buckwheat is generally considered a healthy food with several potential benefits. Health benefits include they're gluten-free, and a lot of doctors I've talked to, 2 or 3, over the last 10 years have said, yes, give up gluten. You'll feel healthier, even if you don't have celiac disease. I've never really fully done that, but a lot of people say giving up gluten will make you feel better. So buckwheat pancakes are gluten-free. Buckwheat is a good source of fiber and protein, magnesium, iron, and antioxidants. I do remember that buckwheats have a lot of fiber. Let's put it this way. You have to eat them on the way to the bathroom. That's how much fiber.
No,
they're very good for you, though. And I like the texture. Are you saying we have a call? Do we have time to take a call?
We have about 1 minute if you want.
All right. Yeah, let's get him on. Who is it?
It's Ollie from the Northwoods.
Ollie from the, oh, man, a call from the Northwoods. I'm in heaven. How's it going, Ollie?
Oh, it's going great. I just called to give my 2 cents worth about the pancakes.
Yeah, please.
My mom was a farm girl from Norwegian ancestry, and on the farm we always had.
Hey, Ollie, can you hold on for 1 minute? I know this is going to be a good story, but we have to do a break. Can you just hold on so we can get the full story?
Sure, no problem.
All right, we're going to do a very quick break, then we're going to come back and hear about Ollie's Pancakes. Oh, if that doesn't already exist as a pancake house, it should. Let's all go down to Ollie's Pancakes. All right, we're coming right back on Night Light with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Bring a friend, join the crowd, whoever wanna come along. Word up, talk, just move right up the wall. Day or night, sky's the light, so we dance to the break of dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, I got the medicine, so you should keep your eyes on the ball.
From Hobart to Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW.
The 2025 draft is almost here, bringing in guests from around the world for this once-in-a-lifetime event. Enjoy ultra-high-end luxury with Simple Life Hospitality's NFL Draft Homes. Available to fit all budgets. Experience hospitality at its finest with concierge services like private chefs, transportation, grocery delivery, and daily excursions. Doing a corporate retreat? Have your company host a party at a draft home in walking distance to Lambeau. Visit SimpleLifeRentals.com and make the most of this unforgettable event.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. Governor Tony Evers has released his budget, calling this the most pro-kid budget in state history. This is now the 4th time that Evers has put forth a budget proposal, and the 3 prior were all met with a similar fate. Republicans in the legislature rejected it entirely. Again this year, Assembly Speaker Robin Vos called the budget dead on arrival. To a certain extent, this is what we've come to expect from this era of divided government in Wisconsin. In previous years, Evers has eventually signed Republican-authored budgets and used his line-item veto powers to make certain changes. But could he play hardball this time around and threaten to veto the entire budget? Is there anything in this pro-kid budget that has to be there? Things like education funding, or clean water protections, or Medicaid expansion. With everything going on in Washington, now might be the right time for Evers to fight for these proposals and fight for Wisconsinites in any way he can.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area and on our website at civicmedia.us.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
In the military, we make a lot of sacrifices, and with the VA loan, it makes it easier for us to get a home.
We were able to purchase this home and then use the money that we were going to use as a down to actually fix up the home. I would tell anybody who is interested in getting a VA loan to just do it.
To learn more about VA
There's a problem, feathers iron, bargain buildings, weights and pulleys, feathers.
Monica from Mount Horeb says, the only way I like pancakes is on someone else's plate. I don't like pancakes, yet I'm meeting some gal pals at Pancake Cafe tomorrow. It's not my choice, but I'll be having a gigantic mound of hash browns and cheese instead. Yeah, cheese and pancakes don't go.
No, it's not. No.
I could do cheese and hash browns, or hash browns and pancakes, but that triumvirate there is not very good. But thank you, Monica. All right, we have a phone call from Ollie in the North Woods, and she's telling us about her grandma's farm pancakes, and this sounded too delicious to rush before the break. So, Ollie, if you would, please continue.
Well, the pancakes are a lighter batter, so the pancakes are a little bit thinner, but then you serve them with either lingonberry sauce, or sometimes we use choke cherry sauce, and then you pour heavy cream over it, the top cream off the cow's milk.
Wow. So
And they're delicious.
You put
And
that in the batter or on the actual pancake?
No, you put that on the actual pancake. After the pancake is cooked, you put your lingonberry sauce or your cranberry sauce down on it, and then cover the whole thing with heavy cream, and it's heaven.
Ollie,
We lovingly call those Aunt Minnie's pancakes.
you have to open up a restaurant. You've just thrown my whole world into upheaval. I've never heard of anything like that
They're delicious.
before.
And actually, the Norski Nook restaurants serve a form of that Norwegian pancake.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you so much for the call. That was definitely worth the wait through the commercial. Thanks for listening, and thanks for sharing.
Enjoy your pancake.
I will. Don't be a stranger. Thanks, Ollie. Wow, that sounded. I don't even like cream that much, but with the pancakes and the fruit,
that sounded
get
really
out of
good.
here. That sounds fantastic. Steady Eddie is checking in. He's from the 608, and he's one of our most what would you say, prolific texters?
Yeah, prolific for
Puts
sure.
a lot of thought into it. He says, Pete, I eat my homemade pancakes only occasionally, but when I do, I don't skimp on real Wisconsin butter or genuine Wisconsin maple syrup. I like where this is going. Pancakes on a Saturday or Sunday morning with a good cup of coffee, it's a beautiful thing. Steady, I'll take that full stack of flapjacks, Eddie. Yeah, you're not Steadfast Edward when you're mowing pancakes. You're Steady Eddie. That's awesome. Thank you, Steady Eddie. Great stuff. And then we got PJ checking in on the stream. He says, I prefer waffles because they have pockets to hold the syrup. He's a real connoisseur. They're kind of the same thing, right? I mean,
And they both have batter that's not great for you. So
right, but I mean, do waffles have anything pancakes don't? It's pretty much just a pancake with the holes, right?
I think
I don't know.
it tastes different for some reason.
Yeah,
as
I
I'm
agree.
imagining it.
It's like
I haven't
there's
had
malt in there or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. That's a great text, though. Thank you, PJ. Yeah, waffles are getting really hungry for breakfast.
I like waffles better than pancakes.
Do you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like PJ said, for me, they got pockets to hold the peanut butter and the syrup.
Oh, my gosh. That's hilarious. My mom makes them kind of how Ollie was saying, like she makes them thin. Or was that Anna who said that? She makes them real thin, liquidy, and then the problem is like she gives them to all the grandkids, and you can eat 12 pancakes before you even know what hit you because they're thin and they're a little burnt and singed, and they've got, not burnt, but just darker, and then they've got their fresh maple syrup and the melted butter. It is outstanding. Wow, great stuff. Okay, keep those texts coming if you want to get in on the fun. How do you like your pancakes? It's International Pancake Day, and I love that Mike Clemens worked at an IHOP. That's so great. God, he must have read that manual inside and out. He was like regurgitating all the IHOP mission statement and like procedure. It was so great. All right, so we had we played this already. I think it deserves a repeat because I don't usually get called by A-list celebrities. But like I said earlier in the show, we've been kind of poking fun at Adrian Brody for his very lengthy Oscar speech. It, was not a great speech. Let's be honest. It was too long, and he didn't really say much, even though he said a lot. And so we had fun with it. We kept playing it over and over like he was still talking even Tuesday night. But he found out about it somehow. Civic Media, it's a big network. Word gets around. Things go viral. And Adrian Brody called me to really let me have it earlier today, and we have that recording right now. Hello?
Yeah. Is this Pete Schwaba?
Yeah. Who's calling?
It's Adrian Brody, cheese dick. I heard you've been talking about me about my acceptance speech.
How did you get this number?
I could get to anyone. You seen how broad my shoulders are?
Yeah, but what's that got to do with it?
I know you think you're hot with your little radio show, but people love my speech.
I'm sure they did. I'm surprised you're not still giving it, to be honest.
I want an apology, and I want it right now.
Dude, I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but most people thought your speech sucked. It was meandering. It went on forever. I'm sorry, but it was almost as long as The Brutalist, for God's sakes.
Oh, yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like my speech. You think I don't know that? You know how many phone calls I still have to make? Well, yeah, no one understands me.
Yeah. Hey, Adrian, come on, man. Relax. It's cool. Look, you got 2 Oscars. Why would you care what anyone thinks about your speech or feel the need to talk for that amount of time and not really say anything? Come on, man.
Oh, you know what? Here I am opening up to you, and you take another shot at me. Have you seen my shoulders?
Yeah, but, I mean...
Have you seen my shoulders?
Yeah, man. I saw a lot more of you than that in The Brutalist, which was totally unnecessary, by the way. Look, dude.
Yeah, look, it's cool, Schwaba. I'll do anything for a role, but yeah, people love my shoulders. Hang on a second. Harvey Weinstein's calling from prison and make sure I'm treating his ex-wife well. You believe that guy? Ugh.
Yeah.
Hey, no hard feelings, cheese dick.
Just like such a rude guy.
And he just hangs up on you that fast,
After he insulted my manhood. I expected more out of him because he's like an artist. Go with those cliche name-calling things. All right, so it is a Bar Band Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. Monday night on Night Light, get this, as my friend Mike used to say. Hey, get this. Dan Davies will be here in the studio. He's an actor based in Northeast Wisconsin. He's promoting a couple movies. Dan's a great guy. He's been on the show before. And then Peter Van Doren will be here to talk fantasy baseball. And I need an education. I don't know much about it. I've done football, never done fantasy baseball, so we'll get into that. That's Monday night on Night Light. But coming up next, our pal, Terry Barr on a Bar Band Friday night. It's Night Light with Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me on this Friday night on the Civic Media Radio Network.
WGBW and WGBW.FM. You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. New Republican-authored legislation is aiming to reform pharmacy benefit managers. Civic Media's Joanne Krulatz has that story.
Dodgeville Representative Todd Novak authored the Cole Act alongside Senate President Mary Felskowski.
I have a rural district. Most of my pharmacies are independently owned. It's a huge issue with them. I've been affected by this personally. I recently, 6 months ago, was told I needed to go elsewhere to get a drug that I take because the pharmacy was losing so much money on it.
Larry Crowley is a pharmacist in South Central Wisconsin.
I witnessed patients facing exorbitant copays for medications they cannot afford, and they're forced into impossible decisions about their health. At the same time, independent community pharmacies are being reimbursed at unsustainable rates, far below the PBM-owned pharmacies that dominate the market.
The Cole Act is named after Cole Schmitnick, who died from an asthma attack in January 2024 after he couldn't afford his inhaler when the out-of-pocket price increased suddenly. Bill Schmitnick is Cole's father.
In Cole's case, those barriers became fatal when his daily asthma steroid medication was removed from his drug formulary without notice or medical necessity. His Advair went from $66 to $540. He was forced to choose between buying his needed medicine, paying his rent. Wisconsin has the power to take the stand against the PBM abuses.
Representative Todd Novak and Senate President Mary Felskowski say the legislation will lower drug costs, increase transparency, and increase pharmacy access and safety.
From local news to what's going on around the state, Civic Media's mission is to bring you real news and great conversation. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.fm.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Peaky Blinders fans who are looking for closure from the upcoming Peaky Blinders movie will not get it. Franchise creator Stephen Nite says Peaky Blinders will continue after the movie has been released, but was not specific as to whether it would be TV or film. In the upcoming movie, the Peaky Blinders gang does battle with Nazis. Netflix has not yet given a release date for the Peaky Blinders movie. Typically, when someone writes a movie, they are looking for creative and ideally financial gain. Rarely does citizenship come into play as a reward, but it did for Jesse Eisenberg, the writer of the movie A Real Pain. The Polish government granted Jesse citizenship for writing the film set in Poland, for which he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Screenplay. Nice to have a place to weekend. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Partly cloudy for tonight, lows in the mid-teens. For tomorrow, a rain or snow shower with more clouds than sun and highs in the low 40s. Mostly sunny and around 50 on Sunday, even warmer through much of next week. Currently 35 degrees.
As a federally licensed broadcast company, this Civic Media station is required by FCC regulations to accept advertising by all qualified candidates for federal office. We also accept ads from state and local candidates. We do screen announcements from issue groups and PACs and exercise discretion in airing announcements with blatantly false claims or outrageous, unfounded statements. These announcements do not necessarily reflect the views of Civic Media, its hosts, or advertisers, and the source of all issue announcements can be found online at our FCC public file.
The Todd Alba Show.
Think about how many people in our communities, our friends, our families, our neighbors, our postal workers, carriers, people that work at our Veterans Affairs hospitals, USDA. Here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene, Donald Trump's lieutenant, thinks of all the people I just mentioned.
Federal employees do not deserve their jobs.
That's what Donald Trump and MAGA believe if you are a federal worker.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Maggie Dawn.
Hey, everybody. I've got an off day coming up, but don't worry.
Time to check out original music with Bar Band Friday on Nightlight. Now, your host, Pete Schwaba, and special guest, Terry Barr.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is, for many reasons, one of our favorite times of the week. As we head into the weekend, we get to talk to one of our very, truly good friends and someone who knows a blank ton about music, all things music, what's happening in our state. She does everything here at Civic Media, and she joins us here for Bar Band Friday night as it's her namesake. Terry Barr, how are you?
Hello, Pete and Conrad and all your fabulous show listeners. Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. It's great to see you. It's been a very busy week for all of us, but you have a show tomorrow night hold on. I have to ask you something. I can't
Yes.
just jump right in. I have to have small talk, Terry. It's just the way I'm wired. So please excuse me, okay? I have to get this off my chest.
Do it.
How do you like your pancakes?
What?
How do you like your pancakes?
I thought that's what you said, and I thought, really? That's why I had to ask you twice.
I know.
I
don't
actually
dig
like
too
French
deep here.
toast.
Oh.
So now
ooh.
I'm being a contrarian, aren't I?
No, that's okay. French toast is, at least it's different than the pancake. The waffle and the pancake are almost too close to call, but French toast is different because you're dealing with bread. I like
And
French toast.
Pete, we discovered a place to the south in Illinois.
Okay.
They make a bourbon maple syrup. But the thing is, the actual maple syrup is from Wisconsin, and the
Okay.
bourbon is handcrafted at this distillery in DeKalb, Illinois.
Bourbon and maple syrup, that actually sounds pretty amazing. A little bit of cinnamon sugar in there, maybe, or something. I'm not going to lie. I've been fasting all week and kind of doing this keto thing, and I am literally salivating right now because of all this pancake talk and just because of Mike Clemens' voice. But I'm really jonesing for some pancakes.
Okay, so what's your favorite pancake?
Well, I said it changed. When I was a kid, I loved regular pancakes, kind of fluffy, with lots of butter, lots of maple syrup. As I got older, real maple syrup, and then cinnamon sugar. There was a place in Three Lakes called the Copper Kettle where we used to go when we were kids, and we would get pancakes. And then as I got older, my wife makes these protein pancakes. There's little bits of like bacon in them, and walnuts and blueberries, and I mean they're dynamite. And you put some real maple syrup on that, some cinnamon sugar, top it off, and you're set. You won't want to eat again the entire day. That's the thing. All right, now that we've covered...
Wait, it sounds like what you need right now.
I'm telling you, I'm going to... If I find an all-night diner on the way home, it might be lights out. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing very well.
I'm curious about the fasting, though. I have never done it, although I've heard if, say, you don't eat the night before until like sometime the next afternoon, which, when you get busy and sometimes you just don't, that's a small fast. But are you doing a several day thing?
Well, I've done that. I've done intermittent fasting anywhere from 16 to like 18 or 20 hours. You eat within a 4-hour window, 6-hour window. It's not that tough. You get the tummy rumblings a little bit, but I have done and I love doing these, a 36-hour fast. Where you eat like at 5 o'clock at night or 6, and then you're done, and the next day you don't eat, and then at 6 o'clock the next morning, a day and a half later, you can eat. And what I like about that, Terry, is so much of my day is spent going, what am I going to eat? And then I got to make it happen. It's kind of nice waking up and going, I don't have to think about food all day. I'm just going to drink coffee and water, and if I get hungry, I'll take a walk, and it's not that tough, and it's very good for you. Like it brings all your levels down with like blood pressure, cholesterol. It gives your digestive system a break. The benefits are incredible. And I know because I used to be a comedian, so you should listen to me. I'm just regurgitating what I read. I'm not an authority. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'll join you the next time, but you got to give me a fair warning.
I just had this vision of Sage calling me into his office and saying, I don't know what to do here. Did you tell people not to eat for 36 hours? And I don't want to be that guy, because I'm just a guy who reads some stuff. But it's good. It works for me. I like it. That's fun. So, all right. Well, let's get down to your area of expertise, which is the state of Wisconsin and music. And I don't even know if it's in that order, but you've brought us Sam Ness tonight. And I love the music you sent. Tell us about Sam Ness.
Sam Ness, he is incredible. He's got such an interesting backstory, too. He was 18 years old, going to college. He had the whole thing planned. And he was a theater guy, so he was thinking Broadway, things like that. Tall, lanky, good looking. He totally could have done this. But how about this for a gift when you graduate? Somebody gives him, and he did not tell me who, but he gets the gift of a one-way ticket to Scotland. That's where his whole story begins. He canceled college, has still not gone to college, and that's how many
Wow.
years later. He started his love of being a street musician in Scotland, and this is where his entire career took off. He's a Sauk City kid, and that music program, the theater program in the Sauk City, school district is incredible. So he continues to represent it well, even though he went a little different direction than his original plan.
Boy, no kidding. I can't imagine going to Scotland to get discovered. Not that he went there to get discovered, but that he got his start there and his inspiration. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Is he 20? How old is he right now, Terry?
Yeah, now he's in his later 20s.
Wow, still a
But he's
young
an
guy.
old soul. He's one of those where he has experienced the world in like some of the most rustic ways. He
Yeah.
said when he ran out of money in various places, including Scotland, he'd camp in a tree. Or he'd, beg, I'll play songs for you if you let me sleep on your floor. Or I'll exchange music for food. He's done that and started doing that when he was 18. He came back to his home in Wisconsin to then start recording albums. And everyone loves him so much. He is always doing a GoFundMe. He always gets the albums funded. And then, boom, album comes out. He promotes it. He does a ton of shows in the US and Wisconsin. And then he's like, I'm out. I'm going to another country.
Wow. He's got a really interesting background. It says that he's drawn comparisons to Jim Morrison because he's got this beard, and that's a pretty good guy to get compared to, at least on some levels. And
Yes.
He also played Marius in Les Mis. I would assume that's like in a high school theater production. And he played high school football. And
Yes.
he's got
Yes.
this really interesting
Absolutely. He was like the
background.
star of his theater in high
Wow.
school. And that's why I think everyone was so surprised when he chose to not go to college for theater, because he did.
Yeah.
He had his whole career path laid out. And all of a sudden, somebody gives him this ticket and he decides, I'm going to go try this.
Do we know who gave him the ticket? Is that like a secret or something? Or
He does not talk about. He said it was just a gift of a one-way ticket that changed his life.
that is really interesting. All right, so let's hear a song from Sam. We've got two of them. One's called Alexander. The other one is called She Is Love. What do you think we should lead off with, Terry?
Let's start with Alexander, only because we've been talking about his beginnings as an 18-year-old going to Scotland, living off the streets, busking around Scotland. That's what this song is all about. His beginnings in just trying to figure out who he was, where he was going as a musician, and if he was indeed going to stick with it. And then he found people there that believed in what he was doing. So that's what this song is about.
That is unbelievable. All right, this is Alexander from Sam Ness by way of Terry Barr.
Truck pulled over to the side of the road. Said, where you trying to go? So I throw my guitar in the back. Say, hell, I don't know. Well, I got things to see and I got itchy feet. I hit the road. And I got nowhere to be, and I got this hunger in me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. I follow in your footsteps, Alexander. I need to find the truth. For your cause you were a martyr, so here's to you. Well, I got things to see and I got itchy feet, I hit the road. And I got nowhere to be, and I got this hunger in me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, I've been missing home. I need to feel cold. Yeah, I say I've been missing home. I need to feel cold. I'm headed north, 'cause I got things to see and I got itchy feet. I hit the road. And I got nowhere to be, and I got this hunger in me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh. Well, I got things to see and I got itchy feet. I hit the road.
Great song. Boy, does he have a great voice. There's like so much soul or something. He's got a really unique voice.
Yeah. And the storytelling in the song, now that you
Yeah.
kind of know what it's about and what he was going through at the time, um, yeah, you understand his story, but yet he tries, as he has explained to me, tries to be vague enough that you understand what he's going through, but yet that you can take your own story away from it.
Yeah. And it makes total sense too after what you just said about him before. Like that's a
Yeah.
very it's probably an autobiographical song on some level, but I love his voice. So we have to do a quick break, but do you have shows? Is something going on around the state? You kind of hinted in your email that maybe there were some cool shows coming up.
Well, and part of the reason we're talking to Sam and sharing his music, he's another one of the featured artists at the Madison Area Music Association Mama Cares show that's coming up at the end of the month. And again, this is one of these organizations that supports musicians who are maybe having a hard time paying the
Yeah.
rent, paying their bills, and helps so many people during COVID. And Sam is another one. He said, I just want to step up and pay it forward. And someday I might need that help. So that's why
Boy.
he's part of the show. That's one of the big ones coming up. But it's exciting because there's old venues reopening again.
Oh, wow.
We could talk about that if you want
Let's
to.
start with that, too. Yeah, right after the break. But you're right. This
Okay.
guy's a really old soul. And we'll hear more from Sam Ness, too, coming up next after a very short break. It's Night Bar Band Friday night here at Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Terry Barr and Conrad. We're coming right back.
From Denmark to De Pere, this is 97.9 WGBW.
Celebrate the women who have helped shape the world as we honor Women's History Month with powerful stories of Wisconsin's own. We recognize the groundbreaking achievements of Elizabeth Baird. She defied the odds to become the first female journalist in Northeast Wisconsin. It was the mid-1800s. Baird was considered a trusted voice as she wrote about the developing area of the territory known as Green Bay. Her reporting revealed the stories of women and families, offering a fresh perspective in a male-dominated press at that time. Perseverance, passion, and breaking barriers. Baird is a part of Green Bay and Wisconsin history, and a symbol of the progress women continue to make every day. We recognize the powerful women from the past and those who are still writing their own history today. I'm Lisa Hale.
While the teams get ready to choose their top draft pick, you can help Mino and the Mayor choose their top craft pick.
Northeast Wisconsin is home to amazing breweries, wineries, cideries, and distilleries, and we need your help picking the best.
We've drafted 10 of our favorites, but which local craft beverage creator will go to number 1? That's up to you. Top craft pick creators include Sturgeon Spirits in Oshkosh, Timekeeper Distillery in Green Bay and Wausau, and Ledge Rock Distillery LLC in Eden. Vote for your favorite now by logging on WGBW.FM and click on Mino and the Mayor's Top Craft Pick. When you vote, you'll enter a random drawing to win $250 in gift cards from participating craft creators. Don't wait. Voting ends Friday, April 18th. Log on WGBW.FM and click on Mino and the Mayor's Top Craft Pick and vote right now. Mino and the
We are back on a bar band Friday night. Every Friday night, it's a bar band Friday night with our pal Terry Barr, one of the co-hosts of Max Inc. Radio. Okay, so we just heard Sam Ness, Terry. Is he live in the Lair tomorrow?
Here's the deal. Rocker still recuperating after his heart attack. We're holding it together. You know, he kind of is like the lead of everything we do. But I think we've been having great shows just because we are so lucky to have so many amazing musicians from all around Wisconsin that want to be part of the show, whether that means they call in or they just send us new music or old music, or they join us in studio for a little bit. We still have not gotten back to the hour-long live in the Lair.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Soon.
Right.
I know. It's like we're building up now because we're all excited to get back to it, but we don't want to push Rocker and say,
of course,
are you ready?
Yeah.
Then
No,
we'll
that
get in
makes
trouble,
total
I think, with both his wife and his doctor.
Well, this is great. I mean, Sam Ness, and it's Dave Matthews, who he kind of sounds like a little bit. It was bothering me, and I couldn't figure that out. Like when he sings Crash, and his voice in this song we just heard, Alexander, was great. But he was the male vocalist of the year, I saw, in the Madison Area Music Awards. Very cool. And we have another song, so let's play that so we can discuss that. This song is called She Is Love. It's another really cool song brought to you by way of Terry Barr. Here's Sam Ness once again.
Sometimes I find silence in dark and deafening rooms. The neon serves its purpose. I fill the space above a stool. Sometimes I hear whispers in a cacophony of noise. She teaches me of kindness, though I've never heard her voice. She's the memory of a story someone told me long ago about their dream. She's a place that feels familiar, that I know I've never seen. Sometimes I feel invisible, or the elephant in the room. She points my eyes towards the sky and says sometimes the stars feel that way too. Sometimes I get restless when I'm driving down the road. She calms my mind, singing lullabies through my van's radio. She's the memory of a story someone told me long ago about that dream. She's a place that feels familiar that I know I've never seen. She is love. She is love. She is love, 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 love. She is love. She is love. She is love. She is love. She's the memory of a story someone told me long ago about their dream. She's a place that feels familiar, and I hope one day I'll see her.
Great song. Great song. Where, I was looking at his website. His tour dates are a little outdated. Do you know where people can see him?
The only show right now that I know he has is the Mama Cares show because he's working on a new album. He just bought a house.
Wow.
I know. So he's kind of flipping the script on all these other things we've talked about where
Yeah.
that all of a sudden I have a home. I've never had a home before, unless you count when I would go off the road from wherever I am and say, "Hey mom, can I sleep on your couch again?"
Wow. And I love
Yeah.
he won the Male Vocalist of the Year too in 2019. If he's in his late 20s now, he was such a young guy. Terry, thank you so much as always. This was so
thank
fun.
you, Pete.
You're the best. Thanks so much, and I hope we'll have you back here next Friday.
Okay. Thanks.
All
Have
right,
a great
fantastic.
weekend.
You too. That's Terry Barr. Bar Band Friday night in the books, ladies and gentlemen. Always fun. Bridget says, where was that text? We got a couple texts here I got to get to. Bridget says, pancakes with blueberries and walnuts with butter and maple syrup. Yes, please. Brian from Milwaukee says, waffles and pancakes use the same batter recipe. All right, Conrad, that seals it for us.
But it has pockets.
But it has pockets, right? And Brian also says, so yes, are kind of the same. Thank you for all your texts and calls, and thank you to Mike Clemens and Terry Barr. And we'll be back Monday. On behalf of the lovable producer Conrad, I'm Pete Schwaba saying good night, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, take me